that's what Wrexham's been rewriting the book on this. So anyway, it's a long way of saying you don't need to be a billionaire and try to pay $600 million for an expansion fee to MLS. There's other ways to approach the sport in the United States now.
And because this was going to be the final question for our audience on the blue ocean opportunity, of how you invest in sports. You've invested in the number one non-alcoholic beer company, Pioneer Sports, which is today revolutionizing youth sports, winning sports franchises like Rhode Island and the Phoenix Rising. So is that the golden message that you share on how to educate our audience on identifying and building blue ocean opportunities?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I try to always say it with humility. I mean, I feel very fortunate with where all of it's come over the last decade. Again, none of it's easy. It takes a lot of patience, perseverance, a lot of optimism, and look, these are the projects that have gone right ultimately, that that are kind of on the scoreboard. But there are other markets that have tried to kind of move forward or stand up and run into a fairly substantial brick wall, and we'll decide to kind of put a pin in it and focus on something else. So anyway, I think for your listeners that have an interest or aspiration in potentially getting into the space, on a relative basis, it's never been easier. You don't need to be a billionaire to get into sports as an asset class. There are countless. I mean, there are literally, follow some of the thought leaders in the broader space. There are so many emerging leagues: men, women, football, flag football, soccer, men's soccer, women's soccer, padel, pickleball. I mean, I've recently seen an opportunity that I really like in all places in rodeo. I've seen a rodeo opportunity that I find very attractive. So anyway, I think there's limitless amounts of ways to get involved in the space. None of them, I want to be very clear to qualify this, none of them are easy, and all of them are kind of fraught with risk. But if you've got, I think, the right attitude and the right, balance sheet to a degree, and the right relationships and the right vision, there's no lack of things that you can do to start to get into the space. And again, you don't need to inherit an NFL franchise because you got lucky because your family owned it since 1960. There's, lots and lots of entrepreneurs and others that are getting involved with sports at a much lower sort of entry price.
Golden advice for our audience today on educating on how to find and enter the sports investment asset class from the pioneer of the sports asset class. Brett, thank you so much for your time. We close with this golden advice on the podcast, educating us on the real estate opportunity, how to build urban development, and especially how to build a winning sports project, and especially the most important advice to our audience, how they can enter building in sports.
What a pleasure, my friend. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for all your great questions, and I appreciate everyone who's out there listening to this, as always. So thank you.
Thank you.